Alright, so this is a video relating to Max Spiers, the super soldier, the bases, programs, basically pertaining to the current situation that we're all in right now. If a lot of the information has already been put out there, and so if you haven't seen the Max Spiers videos, then I recommend go ahead and watch those. So basically we have been in a time loop, and the humans have been taken as prisoners, and we've been turned into a slave race by an alien reptilian race called Alpha Draconis. And so right now it's a power struggle between the humans, who are finally waking up. The earth is waking up. So it's us against the Alpha Draconis, who have enslaved us for at least 13,000 years now. Or it's been going, like, they've been planning that entire time. And then even above them are the Aldebaran group, which has higher authority than the reptilian species here. And it really just comes down to three of them. There's really just three that are doing all this, and that it appears that there's a lot of them because they clone themselves. And so down to the point of this is that, so we're in a matrix system, a cube, the hexagonal cube matrix system. It's a false reality created by the bounding and the rings around Saturn. If you notice anything unusual in your day-to-day life, if you notice that like things around you are seeming to be out of your control and controlled by other things, and just observing around you, you should notice that your subconscious has been hijacked. And so it's pretty much really, to be the most blunt about it, is that they pretty much grow humans. They take DNA from high vibrational beings, powerful beings, to draw a high vibrational soul. And all humans are powerful, creative beings that have high vibrational souls, because we're connected to God, we're connected to the earth, Gaia, we're connected to the entire universe intrinsically, the chakra points. And so we are the creators of the universe, which is important for later point. So when you're born, they immediately traumatize you. They immediately place you in a vat and store you in an underground base, hook you up to their mainframe machine that stores all the information on you, stores everything you've ever said, everything you like or have done. And then they beam you into this dream world. So your actual body is on an underground base somewhere, and you're in a false reality, a computerized, if you will, dream world where they have hacked our subconscious in the dream. They're in the dream with us. They're controlling every aspect of our reality around us, along with stealing our creative force power. And that's the only way they could have really went about this, is by creating this false matrix universe and doing it that way so that they could hide behind a human altar, if you will, so they could hide. I mean, there's these bases are all over the place. The Vatican is one of them. Australia, Colorado, DC, the moon. The moon's a ship, so a lot of the humans are probably stored on the moon. And that's another thing. They catch your soul when you die. Don't go to the light. It's false light. Catch your soul, recycle it back into the same cycle you've been doing for who knows how long, living the same life under the same circumstances. And so it's messed up, but so it traps your soul, erases the memory, and then puts you back in the same place with the same situation, dealing with these three reptiles, I guess you could call them. And a lot of this information I got from Max Spiers, who, I mean, when it comes down to it, they hide behind all these names, but they're real names, three of them. So it's Anu, which is their oversoul, their overlord, I guess you could call it, their god, I guess, and who like makes all the plans basically. It goes down from there in a pyramid structure, and then it's Enlil and Enki. And Enlil is basically he was Jesus Christ. He is the false light. They are on Earth in a war for souls, first to see who can conquer the Earth first. Enki is the devil, and they just compete against each other. They were fighting against each other for control and like followers, I guess you could say, the whole time until just about till this century hit. Now they're working together because all the humans are waking up and fighting back, because now we're aware of all these things. We know this information, and they can't do this for much longer because it's so illegal. It's so wrong. It's wrong on every level, and I'm sure that many other people in my position are also waking up at the same time. It's kind of a connected consciousness. Another thing is they have us all separated out in our own world, and then it's just with them, just with those three. So they're trying to separate humans from each other to take, it's the main goal for them is to try to take away our general nature, which is loving, compassionate, caring. They want to take, it's a war over the heart. They want to take away our love. They want to take away who we are. They want to take away like the oneness and togetherness of human beings, and they also want to separate us from Mother Nature and God, Source, and Earth. And so by separating the humans, putting them each in their own universe, if you will, with just them, making you think that you're with a bunch of people when you're really just with them, those three that have cloned themselves. I mean, really, how they did it is every person that has ever lived, once that person dies, they go in through that person's eyes. They draw the soul out through the eye, trap it, go in through the eyes, and take their bodies. So they're walking around as us in our bodies, while we're trapped in a machine. And keep in mind, the only reason that this information was released in the first place was because a higher power than all of us stepped in and is forcing them to stop, because they're breaking universal law, and they just can't do it anymore. So they release the information, and they're still trying to get away with stuff though, which is funny. Like, they're still trying to keep doing this kind of stuff, which is why I'm putting out this video, hoping that it'll wake up other people if there's anybody out there watching this. So yeah, this is really important stuff, because this basically is the first time in 50,000 years that we're really getting our freedom back. It's around the corner. But anyway, they do all their work in 4D. So when we sleep, they go in. I mean, it's a dream within a dream, essentially. It's double inception. But they go in our subconscious, inject their thoughts and what they want to create, and do it that way. And another thing is mainly sex magic with it combined with intent. You use those two together. What they do is they'll have sex with you, or it could be even just like masturbation of a human being. They get a human being doing that through mind control over and over. Then they just harvest that energy. They harvest the sexual energy, and with intent, then they can draw a drawing or a logo, or have an idea, write a song or a script or anything, and bring that into this 3D false reality dualistic environment that way. Sex magic is the main thing they do. They also like fear energy, and putting somebody in a very depressed state, which is they like the low vibrational energies. That's what they know how to work with to steal and create. So I mean, it would be best to avoid giving off those types of energies to protect yourself, and to keep waking up and keep on strengthening our race or our cause, is just to love yourself. Is the best thing you could do to continue that loving, confident energy. If you love yourself, then you're always putting out that and raising your frequency and others at the same time. So another thing is that so the main reason what also allows them to do this is they steal the pineal gland, metaphorically, of humans, so that they can create with that, because they can't create. So they steal our like special gifts, our creation gifts, and create through that too. They are from a planet, or it's said to be a spaceship. I don't really know. It's called Nibiru. So from a way out distant galaxy. I have no idea how they got here. I guess they just kind of were told to come here by a higher power than them. But aside from that, so everything they do is with children. That's why they take you before you're 3, put you in the matrix, so you'll grow up and live an entire life and think that it's completely normal, when really I'm sitting here talking and recording this video when my actual self is underground somewhere or on the moon in a base in a vet, like the Matrix. Basically, the exact concept and the exact thing that they have done to us is the movie Matrix. So go watch the movie Matrix if you haven't seen it. That is exactly what is going on. And so they just use us for food source, physically and energetically, emotionally. Some of them they just kill and eat their flesh and drink their blood to empower themselves. It's sick. They so there is some. It's a very real environment, though. They drop chemtrails from the airplanes. It's one of the main things that I would say that hasn't been released as far as other videos, is that what their plans are is, so the moon is like a Death Star type deal. On the moon, they have a supercomputer that is connected to everybody's technology, all the phones, everything, computer, TV. It's connected. It has everything stored on it about every single person that ever lived, everything that was ever created, put on TV, and they're trying to give it sentient consciousness, and they're trying to basically give it. It's the false light. It's the soul catching machine. It has multi functionality. And so one sec. So basically it's I don't know. I saw the movie Iron Sky. If you haven't seen Iron Sky, go watch that movie. That's exactly what's going on. They call it the Götterdämmerung in that movie. I don't know if that's what it's actually called, but so their main goals, three main goals, take away the natural being of like how humans are. They want to take the natural state of how we are away from us, break the heart of us, and make us like them. They're fear-based, violent, low-frequency beings. They want us to be like them. That's one goal. The second goal is they want to revolutionize everything with technology. They want the humans to be surrounded by as much technology as possible to take us away from God's source and separate us from Mother Nature and Earth. And so what they're doing is they're spreading nanotechnology all over the Earth. And this nanotechnology, they have technology beyond conceivable for like what we have been told is around. So this nanotechnology, they use a metaphor called they say metallic hydrogen. And so what that means to me, what I really think that means, is like basically water in technology form. So it can shape and form to anything they want. It's little technology, like in that movie Big Hero 6, that movie where they had that the kid invents the nanotechnology that can do anything, be anything. But in order for that to take a shape and take a firm hold, they have to have a very low frequency, high density environment, which is this 3D duality reality we're in now. In order for them to have it stick, they need that. And they also, so like immense pressure, and so back to the gutter Dameron, that thing shoots out projectiles that of this nanotechnology. They have so many different ways of spreading it. I don't think this machine is. They want it to like fly, and they want it to. They say it will fly. They haven't got to that point yet. They're trying to, and the only way they can get it to do that, and it's basically just the moon. That's what it really is the moon in itself. They have to harvest enough human energy to the point where it can get the engines running. So that's why they're harvesting all their energy, trying to get it moving. And the reason they want it to move, they want to be able to fly the moon so that they can fly it just in the direct point of where the sun rotates around, where Earth rotates around the sun, so that there's just no sunlight at all. They just want it to be pure darkness and take us away from the life-giving energy, which is the sun. So the moon orbits around the Earth in 28-day cycles, and then the Earth around the sun in I don't know. I slip in numerology on this, but so that's why they have nighttime. If the moon was placed there, it's a spaceship that was placed there. If they didn't have the moon, then there would be no nighttime. That's just enforcing the duality. There would be no. It'd just be straight light. It would be better that way. But so they're trying to get it to fly perfectly each day with the Earth in relation to the sun and the Earth, so that there's just no sunlight, and that would be bad, because then we wouldn't have the healing, life-giving energy that the sun gives off. So yeah, they're trying to harvest our energy. So the best thing to do, they don't know what to do with positive energy. So if you give enough positive energy, that doesn't help their cause. They just try to stay positive because they only know how to use the negative energy. So if you're giving up, like, no matter what happens, always try to be positive. Always try to stay calm and collected. Don't let them rile you up. That's not worth it. But so they use our soul energy as currency. They use that, and it's, like I said, it's all over. They have underground bases of the souls all over the place. But so once, and also they want to get this nanotechnology spread as any way they possibly can. One main way is the planes with the chemtrails, just dropping it. They're replacing grass with cybernetic grass. They're replacing the trees. They're just trying to basically get rid of Mother Nature, have it all be technology, because they don't have the intrinsic connection that humans do. We're all connected by heart source, God source, and they don't have that connection. So they're trying to connect themselves through technology and kind of create an electronic soul, like a imitation of the soul. And they call that the electronic paperclip. But aside from that, that won't happen, by the way. It's already been stopped. Like, we're already in motion of overpowering them. Now that I somehow figured this stuff out, now that we know, and it's going to be out there, so they can't really do anything as long as people are doing what they need to. I don't know, they traumatize you and put you through mind control, and a lot of the time they inject their thoughts as yours, so you have to distinguish between what's my thought and what's being projected into my mind that's not actually me. So you got to kind of know yourself on that. They'll try, and the reason they shatter the mind, and they shatter the mind through the trauma. Drug use is a big one, and they know that by giving, like, and they don't want you to remember it either. So often you won't remember it right away. It takes a little bit while, and aging and breaking down to that programming to realize that you've been programmed. Um, they shatter the mind through either sexual abuse, drug use, or just like any way they can traumatize you from a young age. And then that creates alters, around like 2,000 something alters in the brain that shatters in like a beehive, like a honeycomb type deal. And then they can place different alters of what they created through, like, it'll be like a TV show or like characters that they made that are just imaginary, and they'll place them in each different little altar with colors, sounds, sentences, anything that they smells. I mean, for anybody that's in this reality still, if they're like, they have chips all over, like little chips all over your body, so they can track you, and they can impulse inject, and they can, like, I have a chip in my nose, in my both my palms, my left thigh, the back of my ear right here. This is a big one they like to do. They like to put one right behind your ear, and I don't know, I'm pretty sure that one goes straight into your brain, or like to connect straight to it, to the amygdala. They like to work through the amygdala because that's the reptilian part of the brain, the instinctual self-pleasure. So, I mean, stay away from any type of self-pleasure, quick thrills, because that just enables them to keep doing what they're doing, and that's the type of energy they like. So, and also a big thing is they want to start race wars, gender wars, sexual preference war. They want to start as much internal wars amongst us as possible, so it generates as much negative and hateful energy as they can, so they can harvest that and power their ship, the moon, so they can block out the sun. The ultimate goal for them is to block out the sun, because then, I mean, and also they don't want us talking about this stuff. They either want to, if you wake up and you start realizing what's actually going on, they either want to stick you in a mental institution for the rest of your life, put you in jail, or kill you, pretty much. And if you don't wake up, then they'll just have you as a slave working a minimum wage job that gets you nowhere for your whole life, and then they'll try to set you up for failure as much as they can that way. They also are very familiar with demonology. They do all types of rituals to keep up on and summon 72 Goetian demons to continue their agenda and help them out with things. They do a lot of dark stuff to try to help their cause. But I mean, humans are much more powerful. Than any of those beings, and they're scared of us. They're more scared of us than we should ever have been, or if they made us think that they're scary, like, no, like, they're way more scared of us than we are of them. So, and then keep in mind, they're reptilian, fear-based. They don't really feel much. They have a heart, but it's not a feeling heart. The constant emotions they feel are sadness, hurt, pain, fear. And so they also rely on us to help them feel good. They rely on our nervous system to help them, to take away their pain, basically. And the frequency of Earth is rising rapidly. It's game over for them. I mean, they call it a game, like it's a game to them. they program you with things like anything, and if they can get you to think of something, or if they can like set you up to like trigger a thought or trigger an altar, then they give themselves points for that, and that they think that's fun, and that's how they entertain themselves. And it's just like, I think it's pointless, stupid. But phones play a big role in this. Phones are how they can track you, and also they can attack you through technology. So it's like using minimal amounts of technology would help anybody who is going through a hard time, or wondering what's going on, or just starting to wake up, or anybody that really has that, just that subconscious feeling that something's not right, because this is very real stuff. This is exactly what I really had to go through a lot to figure this stuff out. So another thing, I mean, they all like to hang out on the moon. That's where they usually are. They don't really want to show their true selves, or the inner earth. The inner earth is an entire world. It's they'll hang out there. I mean, basically, what people need to realize is that everything they've been told, all the schooling they've had up until like you graduate, it's all a lie. School in this 3D reality is a joke. It's all false information. The wars and everything that you heard about, it's not. That's just to keep you distracted. Misinformation. The way they teach you math is wrong. Like, and letters, even letters are numbers. Like A equals 1, B is 2, C is 3. And even the way they write the letter, the way that the letter has been written, like, so keep in mind, this consciousness has been ruling here and enslaving us for thousands of years. So everything that you have here has been made by them in an effort to trick us and keep us dumbed down and subservient, ignorant, so they can keep doing what they're doing without anybody ever noticing. And they never wanted anyone to find out. But they were just gonna basically milk the earth and humans of all its resources and just mess it all up, and then leave. And then they don't care what happens to us. I mean, who knows? But I can tell you one thing: we are going to be okay, and we're going to get our power back. The only reason they can do this is because somehow a long time ago we gave our power away to something that didn't have our best interests. I don't know how that happened. I mean, even the Bible is entirely written by Enlil, because Enlil was Jesus Christ. He was a false leader, false light to just trap souls. And then you have Enki, the opposite, the devil, who, I mean, Enki was originally for humanity, but he was jealous of all of the, like, they call it the followers or people that he was trapping. So he got the whole idea of becoming like this devil archetype, and have people sell their soul for money and this and that, things that don't matter at all, because they place those things here in order, like, knowing that we would, and then so they walk around having all this money and all this things that they bring humans up to, they bring us up to want to have. They say, oh, you need to have money to live, you need to have this and that, but that's just their society. That's what they created. in order to enslave us. So that it just, the whole cycle finally coming to an end. In Atlantis, 13,000 years ago, was a beautiful society, beautiful. Um, we were everybody was there. And the flood that happened around that time, in the Bible, it's the days of Noah. That was when the flood happened. And the flood was caused by these reptilians. And another word for them, what they call themselves in the Bible, is the Nephilim. They go by the Nephilim, or they go by the Anunnaki. They have many different names, but it just comes down to the three of these beings, Anu, Enlil, and Enki. It comes down to just those three. Anu, another name for her, if I don't know, in the Jewish religion, there's Moses, which would be Enlil, and then there's Haman. I mean, Anu is a negative feminine energy. In fact, they're so anti-male. Well, they're anti-female. They're female energy, yet they're anti-female, which makes no sense. They want to eliminate the female gender entirely and just they want to make an androgynous being a male and female in one body, so that that's because that's how they are, and they just want that. I don't know why, but also in the underground bases they have a bunch of women solely there just to breed for them and raise children up until the age of like 2 or 3, 4, and then they put them in the vat, hook them up to the matrix false reality, and then you're there until you die. And then you die, they capture your soul through the eyes, and you redo the whole thing over and over again. That's what we've been doing in cycles for thousands of years. And finally, I mean, so if you were to die, close your eyes and go to your heart, central core of your being. Go to your heart, because then they can't trap you. You can, and if you've learned your lessons here, like you're not addicted to anything. You beat all addictions. You aren't sexually immoral. You've learned your lessons here. Then you can bypass that soul machine, especially if you go to your heart. It's very important that you go to your heart. I mean, if you die, when you die, you'll see the light. The light will try to, it almost like pulls you like a vacuum. It tries to like drag you into it, but you just have to fight with all of your being and go to your heart, and then they can't get you, and you've broken the cycle. So I mean, the big illusion is the body. We don't really need this body, because when you're not trapped in the body, humans are everything. So you're one with everything. You're pretty much like you're God. All humans are a piece of glass dropped into different pieces, which would be the bodies. You get rid of the body, it's just one piece of glass again. We're all God, basically. We're all together. We're God. That's what makes up that. But so they've been trapping our souls so that it separates that God conscious, and it makes it not as powerful when we're separated, and it makes it hard to do really much of anything. So that's why, I mean, you can't just go and kill yourself and be free, because then you risk, like, this has to be fixed, and we have to get rid of them here. We kind of have to think them out of existence, or just until they realize that their work is going nowhere from here on out. Till they're either going to leave and we're going to find them somewhere else, or they're just going to kind of fade away from existence because the frequency will be too high for them here. But yeah, so I mean, how they even got to trap our souls in the first place, I have no idea how they got to that point. I mean, I'm sure it all started around the Atlantis times when we lost the war there. Um, that's when it first started, probably trapping souls there. But there was a war in the '60s. Most people probably weren't aware of. It's the Quiet War. Nobody's really aware of it. At least the humans aren't, because we're going into lifetimes with no knowledge of anything, just amnesia, and those three characters, have all the cheat codes, all the information, everything they need to keep doing what they're doing. So in 1969 at Woodstock, that was one of the mass wipeouts, believe it or not. Um, I'm sure they used chemical warfare without people realizing it, and they dealt out a lot of drugs that would surely make somebody overdose and die. That was one of the big mind control experiments and mass wipeouts that we lost the war in the '60s, and that's why we're at where we're at now, because they trapped a lot of us then. They got a lot of us in that era, but there's still some of us out there, I'm assuming. A big thing they like to do is so that the sun is supposedly 93 miles away, right? So they have the whole Times Square, Madison Square Garden, and Trafalgar Square. Those are three of the main underground portals they use for time travel. But time is the big illusion. Time's really just a way of tracking history or meeting up somewhere. But it's so my story is, I touching on what happened to me. As far as I know, I'm only 21 right now. So what happened to me, pretty much, I had an eye surgery when I was 4, and that, I don't know what to think of that. If that's when they put me in this, or if I was put in it earlier than that, I don't know. But I have undergone a ton of satanic ritual abuse. They do it all through, a lot of what they do is through frequency. They'll play, if you're really paying attention, if you really get the heavy metals out of your body, you drink a lot of water, exercise, and get a lot of sunlight, it'll heal you, open your third eye. Drugs are a false way of getting your third eye open. You don't need drugs to do that. You can do it with just aligning yourself with the universe. And so they'll play frequencies that are these low vibrational frequencies to try to place entities in you. They'll literally try to place these horrible entities inside of you that are like low fourth dimension, basically hell, like princes of hell. There's 72 of them, so they'll try to get that in you through frequencies. That happened to me. I know they've been trying to do that to me for about 3 years. Still, they can't get it to stick. It's just it won't stick. It's just the way it is. And so they got me addicted to drugs through mind control when I was 15. Then smoking pot, and that will get you basically mind controlled. They can do whatever they want with you. Then through that they can give you a vasovagal response, and that will shatter your mind, especially acid, LSD, any hallucinogenic is a big thing. They got me on all that, so I'm very deep into mind control. I'm just focusing now on trying to deprogram myself, gain my own thought train back. And also they'll do it through sex. If you have sex with any one of them, that's a ritual in itself. Every time they're trying to mind control you through sex, it's kind of like a thought virus. Or they will again try to place entities into you, or just like try to screw you over somehow through these rituals. That's just been happening to me. What I've been dealing with lately is they just try to put me in a fear state, because they think that's what they like. They can go and create with that, or they try to harvest sexual energy from me a lot, because that's what they want in the long term. They just want. Also, you have to do a lot of staying true to yourself. Just do good things for yourself, for others. I mean, no matter how much they come at you and how much they seem to be trying to make you mad or this and that, just be loving towards them, because that's our nature. If you go against yourself, then you're betraying yourself, and that's what you don't want to do, because that gives them a vantage point to attack you twice as hard. But yeah, so I actually had such a hard time. I was at ASU, which is just a joke, pretty much. They got me on all types of drugs, and they began like this very long, like 2-month ritual trying to put this entity in me. They speak of it sometimes. It's the Aldebaran people, really, what it is. I mean, they're not people. They're like a minotaur type creature, a minotaur androgynous being. They'll try to put that in you. If they haven't already, you would know, because it's basically like the worst feeling ever. I mean, I remember just being up all night, every night for like a week or two, just trying to fight this thing. I could feel it trying to layer itself, trying to get into you, and it feels like basically just like the worst sense of anxiety and sickness. It just feels like you're sick. It feels like you. So battling that, and also they were doing multiple things. They were doing that. Had the most mind control they've ever had on me, because they had just tricked me into doing LSD, and it wasn't actual LSD. It was a weird research chemical, and they had a lot of mind control on me, so they could get me. And what they really tried to do was they tried to mind control me into killing myself. I actually almost did. I attempted it 3 times, and twice in the same day, and then once way later. But that was purely a product of intense mind control. This was when I was 19. So, and I know why they did it too. They did that because they knew that I was going to wake up and find out all this information and expose them. So they tried to get rid of me back then so that I wouldn't be here able to tell and talk about this now. Yeah, the big thing, they usually won't go and kill you themselves. They'll try to mind control you into killing yourself, which is it's worse, honestly, because then you betray yourself, and why would you want to do that? But they actually almost did kill me one time. They mind controlled me again. I was like late night running around, and the cops pulled me over, and they literally threatened to shoot me for no reason. They literally were running at me, running at my car with a gun out, saying, "I will shoot you." And they wanted me to run, so if I would have ran, they would have shot me. So thank God that I just complied with that. But so that happened. I mean, they've just been, for the past, ever since I started waking up when I was 18 was when I really started waking up. Programming started breaking down. they've been trying to get rid of me ever since then. Because the key to this is just being aware of what they're doing. If you know what they're doing, you can stop that. If you are able to speak about it, that's that's pretty much all we can do is just talk about it, and that is enough in itself to stop them. Because if you're aware of what they do and the ins and outs of all of it, then you are in control, and they are the ones, they want to be in control. They have a huge thing with controlling you. That's why because they're an unbalanced being. They're in such a high state of fear all the time that they have to control things around them to ease their own black hole within them. And so that's the gist of that. And now I finally got my act together. I finally broke the addictions, alcohol, everything, you name it. And that's what they put you through trauma, knowing that you'll seek out these drugs and these things to not face these feelings and deal with this. And they're the ones that created these drugs. And they're the ones that made these things and placed them to you. And that they'll try to tempt you into doing anything to lower your vibration, as long as you just don't listen to them. And that's what I've been trying to do mainly, is just keep up my vibration and keep staying true to myself. Gets lonely for sure, but because we're each in our own little universe or dimension, you could call it, by ourselves with just them. So, and anybody who feels like they've been through this or is going through this, don't kill yourself, because that's what they want. I'm constantly being attacked, them trying to get me to kill myself still to this day. Don't do that, because then you're just going back to the whole thing again. You obtain this knowledge and everything, and then you kill yourself, then you're just going to go through it all again. And then there's they say, oh, like you could bypass it. It's like, yeah, we can bypass it, but especially, I feel I could definitely bypass it if I were to seek the way out, but that's the easy way out. Never take the easy way out. So we're going to get out of here. We're not experiencing the true way that things look. Like this is not how things really look, because they put out, the main thing is a frequency too that's hiding them under a human disguise. They put out a frequency that kind of affects your subconscious, so you can't really tell. But things to look out for if you are like in my situation, is look for like a pupil, like a cat type eye, like an oval pupil. Also, a frequency they don't like is the hue. If you go on YouTube and look up the hue and do that frequency in your head or out loud, doesn't matter, that alters the projection that they are putting out. They don't like that. Also, if you tune into if you align yourself with what they're thinking, because they're in your mind, controlling your mind, right? So you can kind of tune into that, and that also will stop them in their tracks. If you can align yourself with what they try to do with you and kind of just mirror it right back at them. The mirror mind is the best weapon, because then that's just deflecting everything they're trying to do to you back to them. And that's all I could say right now. And also, if you really see through the illusion of it, and you don't call it out loud, don't ever say things out loud too blatantly, because then they'll try to cart you off. They'll act like oh, what are you talking about type deal, and try to send you away. But in your mind, so they can hear, or they basically linked their mind with ours. So it's direct telepathy, and I'm sure that, I mean, we all humans all have that gift, but I don't know if they have it directly of their mind to do that to us, or if they link it their mind to ours through the technology, like like what they use is it's an electro node. It's part of their nanotechnology. It's behind both my ears in order to basically control what I hear, what I like. A lot of the stuff they do is through that. But yeah, it's coming to an end finally. I mean, there's portals. There's all types of portals all over the earth. They have they like to speak in symbols, metaphors. They'll use the Greek alphabet more than the English alphabet. The English alphabet is purely just a facade in order to trick us into not knowing what we're really saying. So how the English alphabet was made, that's another good point. The words that they made in the letters are all constructed in a way in coding. So like whether you say the word backwards. If you say a word like, I don't know. The word say is like yes. So, or the word on is no. So like you'll be saying sentences, literally saying spells. That's why it's called that, because you're like literally using energy through this throat chakra it affects the world around you. Words and thoughts create the world around us. So if we can kind of uplift that in a different way, or kind of just figure out how we can think our way out of this, then yeah. But so you're saying things, but you don't know what you're actually saying, because they know what you're saying, because they created this language. So I don't know, it's confusing to get into that. So they'll use the Greek alphabet more, because that's more symbols than letters. They like symbols. And so I'm sure that anybody that is like me and will catch on as I did, probably about the same time too. Another thing they did is they actually shifted the entire universe with, I don't know if anybody researched it, or the CERN, the government company, CERN. They made the Hadron Collider in Switzerland, and that is a particle accelerator. They altered the weight of an electron and shifted the entire universe over. And I don't know really what happened with that. All I know is that people could have died, or people could be in it else, and it could have scattered us amongst different universes. It could have, I don't really know exactly what happened with that, but that was during that 2-month period where it felt like I was basically losing my mind. I was talking about when I was at ASU, that 2-month period. I feel like that's when it happened, because it was a complete. If you alter the weight of an electron, that's a complete density shift of all matter. If you alter one, it literally alters everything, and so that shifted us. It messed with consciousness itself. It messed with a lot of stuff. And so I think that was a key part that went on in what's been going on and what the situation we're in, because that when they did that, it basically sets off like a shockwave of sorts, and it also could have allowed for full on mind control, like full on, or mass wipeout. I mean, all these things, really. You alter an electron, it's your consciousness is basic can be your consciousness could have been fully taken over by them. Like, it really, what it really felt like when I was there was literally fighting to hold on to my own consciousness. It's almost like they were trying to completely overtake my mind. And I just felt like the most immense pressure on my head. It felt like it was so much pressure. And this was back in, this was around March 9th, 2016. March 9th, and then you have there the 3-9, the inversion of the sun. So, and then that's also when I was talking about the portals, the square, it's Times Square, that's TS, T20, S19, 3-9. So, and gematria is something to study and look into. That'll help you a lot, which is basically like the correlation of letters and numbers. But they're just, a big thing they do is just they use numerology in order to kind of screw with us. They use numerology in their favor, the planets and everything. But the stars are aligning, things are going in our favor finally. Some days, I mean, it's hard. I know this is like hard stuff to kind of believe and grasp, but it's so true. So, let me see here. But yeah, so I don't know. Figure I might as well put this information out there for anybody who needs it. I think that's just about all I wanted to say. Oh yeah, one last thing is so what they really need is to take out the male energy, because without strong male energy, then they basically have that would mean that they would win. But I mean, that's not gonna happen because I'm here. So I think that's why they're trying to get rid of me so much too, because they can't really do much with that. But a big so they're, yeah, the biggest thing is they want to block out the sun, have the moon blocking the sun, kind of like enchained the sun, like Saturn. So Saturn used to be the original sun, and they somehow bound Saturn with those energy rings and they trapped it at the lowest frequency it could have, and then channeled that. They aligned Saturn with the moon and the Earth. It's perfectly aligned, so that low frequency is beamed to the moon, and the moon works like a magnifying glass for that, and beams it in a pyramid structure down to Earth that creates the false reality we have. And so they can't bind the sun like they did Saturn, so they're just trying to block it out. Basically what they're trying to do is align every single planet, and each planet is a different chakra point, different color down the body. They want to align every planet so it's a full prison system, and they're just basically running everything. And they know they can't do this, and they know that this is coming to an end for them, but they're still trying. It's because they've been doing this for so long. They just like, I don't think that they want to give up, and it's gonna come down to just them running out of time. They're already out of time. They had 15,000 years to do this. It's been 15,000 years, a little bit over. They're running out of time. The planet's waking up. We're all waking up. We're all, I mean, and even like pets too. Pets around your house, that's them too. So everything. They can be any object because they can shape shift theoretically. What they do is they just they hijack your subconscious to make you see them that way, or they have a force field around them that hides them that way, or they can actually, like, since it's already kind of a dream state in itself, because 4D is right there. It's really close to 3D, so they can unlock and lock DNA codes and pretty much be anything, any object, any animal. So that's something to watch out for. You're pretty much, I mean, it's pretty much, we're alone, but we're not. So we're alone as far as in the body and in this reality, but we're also connected throughout the timelines, no matter what. So on that note, watch The Matrix, watch Iron Sky, and watch They Live. They Live's like an early representation of what happened, or like what's going on. But those three movies should get on top of this video and any Max Spiers video. Just type in that on YouTube and you'll get a lot of the same information that I just said, except not as detailed and as in depth. But yeah, so that's pretty much all.